Broadcasting live from Arena on the plane of Dominaria. This is Tap Tap Concede. Graham here.
Cameron here.
Nah, I gave it to him this week. James here.
And today on the program we're going to be talking about MtG Arena a little bit. Not the card arena. Though I do want to talk about the card arena really quickly in a moment, just because it's weird and you might not have heard of what the card is. But first of all, a reminder that Tap Tap Concede is brought to you by Card Kingdom at cardkingdom.com/LRR. If you go there, that puts our affiliate code there, which lets them know that we sent you over there. And we do that because we think they're great. Really, really good customer service. Crazy fast shipping. It's been a while, but I do still frequently get people tweeting at me being like, "I thought you were joking."
Yep.
But here, like that is a meme at this point. So shout outs to Card Kingdom. And if you let them know, LoadingReadyRun sent me button, please. Sorry, LoadingReadyRun sent me, comma, button, please.
To be fair, if you missed the comma, I don't think they'd be like, no button for you.
No, but I said it so quickly, it sounded like LoadingReadyRun send me button.
Yeah.
You get a little 1-inch button that we make and send them, and currently it's a reprint of Just Flunge.
Yay.
Highly sought
It's a
after.
classic.
It's a good tactic in this current limited environment.
Yeah.
Also, this show and every show that we do is brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com. Sorry, brought to you by you who support us on Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Couldn't do without you. Real quick, just because we were like, where are we from? And yeah, it was reminded about Arena. Look at all the text on this thing.
Yeah.
So this was originally given away in books, which is why the expansion symbol is a dip pen. So it's a land, doesn't tap for mana. 3 and tap. This is the wording. Choose one of your creatures and have your opponent choose one of his or her creatures. They get to pick. that makes this way not good.
Yeah.
Both target creatures become tapped.
Okay.
Your creature does its power in damage to your opponent's creature, and your opponent's creature does its power in damage to yours. So it's I pick a creature, you pick a creature, we tap them both, and they fight.
Yeah. And
Which is
your opponent
like
gets to
kind of
choose.
great, but them getting to choose is
They get to choose after you choose.
Yeah, it's
So you
terrible.
can be like, I choose my Deadly Recluse, and they're like, okay, I choose this token.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this
Hey.
seems really quite bad.
Yeah, by the way, the Oracle text on this is tap target creature you control and target creature of an opponent's choice he or she controls. Those creatures fight each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward.
1994, though.
I guess you could do it at the end
Damn.
of your turn if you really had
Nope,
to.
this seems bad.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not great.
What's this legal in?
Is it?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking, Paul.
I guess Legacy Vintage Commander.
Yeah, modern, legacy, vintage, commander.
Wait,
because
it's legal in modern?
it came out in Time Shifted.
Oh.
It came out in Time Spiral.
But it's not the new border.
No, that's- yeah,
interesting.
that's-
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just the border. I
Out
guess
of
'cause it was
curiosity,
reprinted
Paul,
in- yeah.
does the... Oh, it has to be untapped. Okay. I guess.
does
Tap
it?
target creature you control and target creature and opponent's.
I think you can target. I think you can pick an already tapped
Yep.
creature.
Oh, okay, so you can do this during combat.
Yeah, rules note,
Yeah.
either or both creatures can be tapped prior to using the ability, and it still works.
Oh, hey, I just realized that this was a land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's the thing. You can use it. You can use it all the time.
I just assumed it was a sorcerer in
No,
an instant, and
no.
I just like, wait,
No,
that's
you can use it every turn if you want.
Go back to the original art?
Yeah,
just doesn't
the
look like a
weird
land.
purple
It
inside
doesn't.
border.
I think. Oh yeah, I just didn't. The land kind of the
Yeah.
old text there. Kind
See,
of
I'm
just,
familiar with these because in Canlander you get blown out by Maze of Ith and
Sure. Actual
Thawing
good-
Glaciers
actual
and stuff.
good cards,
right?
you
But
mean?
like
The old tap
with these weird borders for lands.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about a much newer arena in a little bit, but first
we need
let's
to
crack a
crack
pack. Oh, 5. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is a pack of 2014 core set. Ooh. Here's the box of packs.
What was 2014? Was that?
Save for Marshall. What? Why does it say save for Marshall?
Maybe he meant to give it to Marshall.
Maybe.
I mean, we're not saving it for Marshall.
Marshall, we have your pack.
We're opening your pack,
We're
Marshall.
opening your pack.
Yeah.
This was given to us by Bill at PAX East 2016. 2016? We weren't at PAX East 2016. Oh, yes, we were. We weren't at 2017.
Correct.
Okay.
Turns out it's just full of razor blades.
Yeah, it's a string. First up is Corpse Hauler.
So,
What's that?
There you go.
Hey, there it is.
Over. Other way.
No, your other over.
Haul that
Other
corpse.
over.
All right,
Okay.
it's a piker. It's a 2/1 for 1 and a black. Human rogue?
Sure.
Why is it a rogue? Anyway, 2 and a black, sacrifice corpse hauler, return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It was fine.
It was fine. It's a 2/1
Yeah.
for 2, so it's fine.
Cyclops Tyrant is a 3/4 Cyclops for 5 and a red. It has Intimidate, which was this was the set that Intimidate became a thing,
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Was-
no,
yeah, 'cause-
not
well,
no,
no.
no, no. I'm not thinking.
Yeah,
sorry,
you're thinking
I was,
of Menace.
I was thinking of Menace. I think this still might be the set where Menace became a thing, but no, Intimidate. Right. Intimidate was.
Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
Fear before.
don't do Intimidate anymore.
No.
Right, yeah, they got rid of Intimidate.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't like color dependent effects.
This is the last set Intimidate was in, wasn't
and I
it?
think Menace became a thing in Origin.
Yeah, I think
actually.
you're right. Yeah. So anyway, Intimidate is this creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and creatures that share a color with it. So yeah, because you can't mention fear. Originally, the keyword was fear, and it was only on black cards.
Yeah.
And it was specifically artifact creatures or black creatures.
Right.
And then Intimidate was like that, but whatever the color of the creature that's on it.
Yeah.
Also, Cyclops Tyrant can't be blocked or can't block creatures with
yeah.
power 2 or less.
Which kind of sucks.
Because they're small and it can't see them.
I guess it doesn't have like good depth perception.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could just sneak underneath.
So I love this. So, original Fear.
Fear, right? The card Fear.
Yeah.
Black creature enchantment. Target creature can't be blocked except by black creatures and artifact creatures. She's
Yeah.
really.
She's super scared.
She's startled by those skulls.
Yep.
Which is of course what the
what
effect is named after.
Yeah.
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 Although I like though that after it became keyworded, they actually did reprint this. So fear is enchant creature, enchanted creature has fear,
Nice.
which has to be the most reminder text and text
Yeah.
on a card that's just
Yeah, wow.
the creature gets this card.
Yeah.
Like enchant creature is just
Huh.
yeah, wow.
Interesting.
Cool art though on it.
It is cool art, yeah. Little gobbos, or a little weird thingy.
They do look afraid. Next up, classic divination.
Hell yeah. Draw 2 cards, 3
2 in a
mana.
blue, sorcery, draw 2 cards.
Get in.
Plume,
Sure.
1 in a green, instant, destroy target creature with flying.
Sideboard.
Got really wrecked by this in draft yesterday.
Yeah, that's true actually, because Plummet is in Rivals. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a vampires deck,
Right.
and we kept going up against merfolk decks that would board in plummet. So we'd have like a 2/3 Sky Marcher, put a Squire's Squire's Invocation on it.
Right.
So like 3/4 lifelink, and then they're just like.
Oh.
We actually at one point we cast the Sky March Bloodletter, the 2/2 flyer for 3 that drains for 1 when it enters
Yeah.
the battlefield, and cast it and then F6'd. And our opponent snapped off the plummet so quickly that because we were F6, which means you yield until the end of turn, we never saw the Sky Marcher hit the battlefield. It was on the stack, and then it was just suddenly in our graveyard, and a plummet was in our opponent's graveyard. Just gone. Like, okay.
Solve the mystery of the dead Sky Marcher.
Yeah. This card exists.
Ugh.
Regathan
Yeah.
Firecat.
4/1s, get out of here.
It's a 2 in a red for a 4/1.
Get out.
Trades for anything.
Yeah.
I don't like 4/2s, let alone 4/1s.
No. Altar's Reap, 1 in a black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast it, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards.
This card was pretty sweet.
I kind of like Altar's Reap.
Yeah.
And the similar one, Plunder's Cost, is that what it's called?
I don't know.
From Ixalan?
I don't remember.
Or Costly Plunder?
Costly Plunder sounds right.
It's
That definitely
sack a
sounds like
creature
card.
or artifact for the same effect, if I recall correctly. It's Vraska. Yeah, Costly Plunder. She's
Yeah.
like bashing a chest open with the fist of a statue, which was presumably used to be a person until they met Vraska.
This
Did
card
you ever
is-
see the trailer for Ixalan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's narrated by Vraska, and she's talking about how she keeps her promises to her crew and grants their wishes. And it was like this was a guy who wanted to be the first to lay hands on treasure.
Wow.
This is just significantly better. Especially in this
Well,
set
yeah.
with
With treasure.
treasure, yeah. All right.
Dragon Hatchling is 1 and a red for an 0/1 flyer, and it gets +1. It has fire breathing. For a single red, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn.
Yeah.
I always thought the art on this card was insufficiently cute.
It's kind of cute, but not a great card.
Oh,
That
right.
is kind of what
I just remembered the other thing that was in M14. Do you remember the return of a much lauded creature type?
Homerid?
Oh,
No.
it sounded like you were...
Cephalid?
No.
Sliver.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It,
A competitive one.
Yeah.
Hive Stirrings.
Right.
2 and a white for a sorcery.
Slivers.
Put 2 colorless 1/1 slivers into play. Sliver tokens.
I forgot about it. I thought Sliver, for some reason, I thought it was 2015 for Slivers, but all right.
Wow,
Yeah,
if we've
these
been
slivers
doing...
never.
Were we doing nicknames
Not back
in
then.
M14?
No.
I don't think
No,
so. Because this
definitely
next card is Paul Heyman. Because it's literally Advocate of the Beast.
Huh.
Which is, he describes himself as the Advocate of the Beast, comma, Brock Lesnar.
not.
That's literally what he calls himself. Anyway, it's a 2/3 for 2 and a green. Elf Shaman. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on target beast you control.
This card's pretty
It
sweet.
actually, this tended to do some stuff.
Yeah, I
in
remember this
14.
being a problem. I would expect beasts to have fewer ugly tattoos.
Yeah, yeah. Bubble, Cauldron Trouble. It's a 2-mana artifact, Bubbling Cauldron. For 1 and tap and sack a creature, you gain 4 life. And for 1 and tap and sack a creature named Festering Newt, each opponent loses 4 life, and you gain life equal to the life lost this way.
Were you ever able to pull this together?
Yeah, actually, the Newt Cauldron Bogbrew Witch triple threat could definitely happen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, because the newts were common.
Newts were common, Bubbling Cauldron was uncommon, and the Bogbrew Witch was rare.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it actually in draft it wasn't like crazy, but it worked. The black-white life gain auras or life gain enchantments deck definitely did some stuff. Like there was Congregate, which was like gain 2 life for each creature you control, which is like pure life gain, but that could be a lot of life. Relevant because of Angelic.
The throne?
Sigil of the Infinite Throne was cool. No, this was Angelic something, and it was an enchantment that if you gained, if you gained 4 life in a turn.
4/4s.
Yeah, if you gain 4 life in a turn, you get a 4/4 angel. Yeah, at the beginning of each end step, if you gain 4 more life this turn, create a 4/4 angel. Angelic Accord.
Right.
Yeah. Vampire Warlord is next. It's a 4/2 Vampire Warrior for 4 and a black. Sack another creature, regenerate it.
This was always a problem when it was across from me, and whenever I had it, it sucked.
Yeah, same.
It's a 4/2 for 5.
Yeah.
Not a big fan. If
No.
you could pump out, like, if you could get little dorky creatures you didn't care about sacrificing to keep this thing alive, sure, but meh.
Bramble Crush. 2 green for a sorcery. Destroy target non-creature permanent. That includes lands.
Yeah.
I love the flavor text on this.
Nature abhors a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, nature abhors a vacuum. Hey.
Hey.
Nature abhors a lot of things.
Yeah. It's like,
We got a foil.
Ooh.
We got a foil Sengir Vampire. That's actually pretty
that's
cool.
actually kind of dank.
Yeah.
Fancy.
It's 3 blood. One of the classic. One of the iconic creatures in Magic. It's a 4/4 flyer for 3 black. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Sengir Vampire this turn dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Sengir Vampire.
Legit.
Yeah. And our rare is in fact a mythic rare. We have a swamp. It's a Windreader Sphinx.
Oh.
It is 5 blue for a 3/7. What an interesting power toughness.
Yeah.
It has flying, and whenever a creature with flying attacks, the words you control do not exist on this card.
Yeah.
Whenever a creature
Yeah.
with flying attacks, you may draw a card.
Yep. I don't really ever remember playing this card.
You think that's a
but-
typo, or someone was like, "Hey, you know what?" and just
Yeah.
like with a Sharpie was just like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then being like, I like it.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the blue flyers deck in this format, you could definitely like play this, attack with some spirits, be like, I'm going to lose a spirit in this exchange, but I'm drawing 3 cards.
Yeah.
Because M14 was triplicate spirits, wasn't it? No,
that was 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are only 5 3/7 creatures in Magic.
Really? Okay. Well, what?
That is a pretty.
Well, what are
uncommon.
they?
What are they? I'm curious now.
We got Urka Shadikwi, the
What?
usurper.
Throw it up on the thing.
Yeah, we got
Ikra Shadiki, the Usurper.
That's from a commander.
Okay,
Yeah.
3 black,
He's a
green,
Naga wizard.
3/7 legendary Naga wizard with menace. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. What? And it has partner, so you can have it. You can have 2 commanders if they both have partner. Oh right.
Oh, I love this card. It has the best flavor text ever.
Nemesis of Reason. 3 blue, black, 3/7. Whenever Leviathan Horror. Whenever it attacks, defending player puts the top 10 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Flavor text.
Words describing it fail. Pages relating it shrivel. Tales recounting it end.
Yeah.
yeah, not an Eldrazi. Just,
Nope.
just
no,
a
just
big
a big fucking thing.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
We got these guys.
Oh yeah, the fairies band centaurs. It's a 3/7 for 5. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, sure.
And we got good old Silumgar.
Oh right, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, Silumgar the Drifting Death. 4 blue, black for a 3/7 flying hexproof. Whenever a dragon you control attacks creatures, defending player controls get -1/-1
Those are all pretty new too.
Yeah.
None
Yeah.
of those were like old.
3/7 is a bold new design space.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Speaking of bold new designs. Hi everybody.
Smooth.
We're going to talk about MtG Arena because last episode we mentioned it briefly in the Q&A, and I said I didn't really want to get into discussing the whole economy thing until I'd read the Wizards
Yeah.
their explanation of it, and I have now, and it sounds interesting. At the risk of literally just reading you their article, I feel like I should.
Yeah,
You know,
recap.
I
Go over
should
the-
recap their article at least so that we're all on the same page and understand what we're talking about. So MTG Arena is their new digital product that's currently in closed beta,
Yep.
and whether or not any of us are in the beta is not relevant to today's discussion because we're just talking about the economy as they've shared it. Because it's a digital card game, and so people are like, well, what's the economy going to be like? Because presumably it'll be free to play with microtransactions, as these things are wont to be.
Yeah.
And how are they going to do that? So, from the article on Daily MTG, there will be 2 in-game currencies that form the basis of the MTG economy. So there's gold and gems. If you've played a mobile game, this sounds familiar. So gold is earned by winning games, completing quests, and winning events, or getting wins in events.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says, and gems are bought for real money from the in-game store.
Sure.
This is important. This is something that was carried over from Duels. While we anticipate offering some cosmetic items in-game that can only be purchased with gems, there will not be any gameplay content that can only be unlocked with real money.
Okay.
Which is good.
So
Yeah, good.
you are theoretically able to get everything through actual play.
Right.
And it depends on what sort of cooldowns or whatever there are on that, how long it takes. But the fact that you don't have to put any money into it is pretty great. That's how I've been playing the most recent iteration of Duels. I haven't actually put any real money into it. If you are in the beta, I like this. You can buy gems, but occasionally they wipe the beta to do new iterations. So if you buy gems and then spend them on stuff, when they do a wipe, they just refund all the
Refund
gems.
you
You
gems.
get your gems back.
Yeah.
So, it's not like you're just throwing money into a pit. So how do you get cards then? So there are a few basic ways. So there are booster packs, which is 8 card booster packs, which is in line with sort of a lot of digital games.
Certainly so Hearthstone is 5.
Yeah. I don't remember Eternal offhand.
Eternal is actually more. Eternal, I think, is 10, maybe? I can't remember. It's been a while since I played Eternal. I'm trying to think of other sort of comparable card games.
But they tend to not be 15 packs
They're not-
like an actual booster pack of Magic.
No, they're not huge. Well, and Magic even Magic is kind of alone in that regard when it comes to even physical card games like
That's true.
Pokemon.
We opened a Yu-Gi-Oh pack a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
It was 8.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is less. Pokemon is less.
Just pretend you're playing Homelands or Forgotten Empires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except with
but they're
better-
8.
with
Or,
better
or
cards.
the Dark.
And I believe the breakdown is 5 commons, 2 uncommons, and 1 rare mythic.
Correct.
Okay.
Draft packs, which so don't, if you're into drafting as we are, don't worry, because there are also draft packs which are 14 card packs mirroring tabletop drafts. They just take the basic land out, which is why it's 14 rather than 15. Drafting will also add cards to your collection, as any card you draft will be added to your collection.
Right.
So same as real draft, the cards you take.
I would be curious to see if they introduce phantom events in the future, like they have on Magic Online, where you can draft at a reduced cost, but not keep the cards. Because that's always interesting.
Yeah.
So. But that's not in there. So.
Individually, cards will also be earnable through play. We are testing a system where for every match win, players will receive 1 card up to 30 per day. That's the current thing that they're testing.
Okay.
And then wild cards are special cards that have a chance to appear in the place of each card at any rarity in every booster you open. And so that's booster as opposed to draft packs.
Correct.
So wild cards aren't going to appear in draft.
No.
Because that would be super weird. But so they have a chance to appear in the place of any card at any rarity. But the wild cards themselves have rarity. So you'll open a wild card, common or uncommon or rare or mythic,
Right.
and then you can redeem it for a card of your choice at that rarity.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, I got a mythic, or I got a wild card mythic. That means I get this mythic, that seems cool.
Yeah.
And then the vault, which is every time you open a booster, you earn progress towards unlocking the vault, which is and when you would collect a 5th copy or more of a given card, you earn vault progress instead of adding that card
To your collection.
because it's digital. You don't need more than 4 copies of any card in your collection. So
Right.
it's just like if you would get extra, you just get vault progress. We are testing the rewards you can earn each time you open the vault. We will start by awarding a number of wild cards. We'll likely change the exact mix over time and during testing to get the balance correct and keep things exciting. So it's like every so often you'll have earned enough to be like, I guess it's like leveling up, right? It's
Right.
like, oh, I get to open the vault. Boop. And
Yeah.
what's inside this time? And then you start to progress over.
Yeah.
So that all honestly seems cool. I don't have any complaints.
So I mean, the biggest complaint or worry that I've seen is the rate at which you get wild cards and open vaults needs to be pretty high,
Right.
in order to
Because that's the only way.
because that's the only way you can get. It's the only way that you can choose which card you want, right?
Yeah.
Because the problem is that
So if you're trying to build standard,
yes,
right? Because there's no like digital storefront, which I think is correct, because then it would be
Yes.
sort of a pay-to-win scenario where you're going to buy singles.
Correct.
There's no digital storefront where you can be like, I want to buy that card.
right.
Right. So you have to get a wild card and then be like, then trade it in for that.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's sort of fundamental. It comes down to the fundamental. What is Arena? Is it because the problem is that if I want to play standard right now, I have 2 options. I can do it in paper, or I can do it on Magic Online. Both of those options, I can go out right now and just say, "Here's X amount of dollars. Give me the cards that I need." You can't do that in Magic the Gathering Arena.
Yeah.
And if that's what they're going for, then okay. But that doesn't seem super great in terms of it, because at the end of the day, I have to believe that they want this to be the place where people go to play Magic Online.
Yeah.
But if it's not easy to just go there and play a deck that you want to play, that seems like there could be some friction, right? I can't just log on to Magic Arena and say, hey, I feel like playing Black-White Vampires in Standard today. if I don't already have all of those cards.
Yeah.
And if I don't already have all of those cards, the only way for me to get those cards currently is just by playing a lot, theoretically.
Yeah, you have to grind out your standard deck.
You have to grind out your standard decks, which, again, if the rate at which you get wild cards and you get to open the vault, if that's fairly often, then this probably shouldn't be a huge problem. And at this point, there's been a little talk about it. It's still in beta, so things can be tweaked. And I don't want to start speculating about where it's at right now compared to where it will be when it's actually fully released.
So that actually brings up a good point. I want to jump to the next section in this Wizards article, which is what they put forward as their core principles in this regard.
Right.
And this is what they're saying, and so we'll see how sort of that balances with practice. But the first principle of the MTG Arena economy is make our players' valuable time as fun as possible.
Sure.
Every free-to-play game uses time as its basic currency, is a statement they make, which is also true. And typically, the worst way of doing that is when free-to-play games actually time gate, where it's like, oh, you've been playing for half an hour?
Oh,
now you can't play.
They're the actual worst. I immediately delete those games.
Yeah. Too often, however, they continue, that time is designed to be a grind, an obstacle players have to push through to get value out of their game. We want players to enjoy their playtime and look forward to coming back again. We designed the game and the economy to deliver that. So this is what they say. Front-loaded rewards. In the closed beta, we're trying out a daily session where most of the rewards come in the first hour or two. While you can always play as long as you like, we want to make sure that even people with limited time can have fun and feel like they're being rewarded.
Right.
For example, we're testing a system where the first win of the day gives you your biggest single game gold reward. As someone with limited time, I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
That's awesome.
You know, if grinders want to grind, sweet. But if someone like me only has maybe an hour over the course of a day, to like jump on their phone for a little bit, knowing that I'm not going to be like way behind because I don't have endless time to grind, I think is really good.
Right.
Their next point is daily or not, which is which they continue with. Playing every day is a great way to keep MTG Arena fresh and fun, all while maximizing rewards. Each day brings a new quest that varies in difficulty and reward, and each day you can cycle out one quest for another. Play every day to maximize your first wins, or play a couple times a week to save up quests. Since quests don't always require wins, they are a great way to earn gold just for playing.
Yeah.
So that sounds similar to the duels quests, if you remember from Magic Duel. I don't know how much of it you played, Cam, but it'll like the quests were like, it's like control 4 creatures with flying, or attack with 4 creatures with flying.
I played a little bit of it. Yeah, I remember things like that.
Like in-game things where it's like, here, do this objective in the game, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then when you want to play more is. But they say, of course, sometimes you want to keep playing, and we want to make sure we supported that. So we're testing out a system of rewards based on total wins in a week. As you win 2, 5, and 10 games over the course of a week, you can earn wild cards. Stack this with a couple daily quests and individual card rewards, and you'll have an amazing 3 or 4 hour session set up. So, so then they carry on. Now that you know your time will be well spent, let's talk about the second principle of the MTG Arena economy. Players need a variety of cards to have the most fun, so reward them with as many as possible. So, I mean, that's
that's promising.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like,
So, we're testing it. So, cards on wins. We're testing a system that gives you a card on every win up to your 30th each day.
Yeah.
Each card has a chance of being any card in standard at any rarity. Boosters per week. Boosters are classic Magic. In closed beta, we're testing rewarding players with the opportunity to earn 3 or 4 free boosters per week. Depending on how you want to play, this could be a booster every couple days or a couple boosters in one super day. You keep all the cards from your draft, obviously. And then they address one of the biggest questions, which is, why not a system similar to Hearthstone with where you dust, which is where you take the cards and you
disenchant them.
You turn them into like an additional currency called dust, which you then turn into other stuff. And they say, if we'd used a traditional dusting system, it would have limited our ability to be as generous with card rewards. In addition, we simply didn't want players to need to constantly evaluate what to destroy, which I appreciate that from a design perspective. We wanted a path for players to complete their collections.
I mean, I would argue that the I would if there was a dusting system, the easy thing to say. So I guess it comes down to this: Arena is Magic, more or less re-envisioned for the 21st century digital realm.
Yeah.
And the problem, the sort of the butting of the heads here, is you have 25 years of history of doing it one way, and now all of a sudden you're doing it kind of a different way.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's where I think that's where the head starts to butt, and that's where the friction starts to happen between the community, especially the very vocal community, because I think this game fundamentally is going to be fantastic for new people to the game, right? This is going to be a really great place for you to start. You know, for years, people would ask us, I'm just getting into the game thanks to you guys. Where do I begin? And we would often just say Duels of the Planeswalker.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been the case for probably the last year and a bit. Certainly not since they discontinued the product. And it's
fairly recent that they discontinued it.
It was mid last year. It was like summer last year-ish.
Was it really?
I think it was about 6 or 7 months ago. I could be wrong, but regardless, I can't remember the last time I said go play Duels. I think I basically just said, you know, go to your local card store, get one of those little 30-card starter decks.
I mean, Duels is still out there, and you can still play it. I still think it's a good way to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is going to be that new space. If you're new to the game, I'm going to say go download Arena and start learning how to play the game there, because presumably there will be here's how to play the damn game. I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in there right now, but presumably it will be. And this system works really well for new players who aren't enfranchised into 25 years of history. So I think it's just players who have been with this game for so long need to just sort of like realize that this is the direction that this game is going in, to bring as many new players into the space as possible. And it doesn't necessarily, or doesn't actually at all match up with the experiences that you're used to, which is, this is, you know, Magic is a TCG. It is a tradable card game.
Yeah.
And it's not in
Arena.
And that's kind of weird, right? Like it's a little weird. And I think as long as, and it sounds like they want to be as generous with these wild cards and the vaults and the packs and getting the cards into our hands as possible, then that's good. But I think there's still a huge number of people out there who just want to log into Arena and play Standard, right? Right off the bat. Like, it sucks that the day you log into to Magic Arena, that you can't be playing Standard whatever in 15 minutes after going around and getting the cards that you need, however way that would be possible.
I mean, you can if you just buy a whole bunch of boosters.
And people will do that, right?
Yeah. I also, like they said, we want to make sure you get the wild cards you need over time, so we're testing out a pseudo-random system that increases your chances to open a wild card of a given rarity every time you don't.
Yeah, because the thing,
mean, that's fairly common in games, right?
It also wouldn't be so bad, because the good thing that Hearthstone has going for it is you can only play 2 copies of a card in your deck, which is a lot easier to handle when you only need 2 copies. And now when you get into Magic, now we're talking about 4 copies, and that is harder. It sounds like they realize this, and it sounds like they're going to try to be working towards it. And at the end of the day, we aren't really going to be able to pass judgment on it until the game comes out. And you know, if it takes me a couple days to grind myself into a deck that I want to be playing in Standard, because that's why I'm personally really excited about Arena, then that's fine. But if it turns out like it's going to take me a week or 2, then that becomes less of a incentive for me to actually play Standard on Arena. And I would probably just default to drafting.
My concern with it is that since all the cards kind of wind up being worth the same, because there's no secondary economy, this might lead to very conservative deck building in constructed environments, where people, because like if I want to pull together a dirtily like explore-based deck for Standard tonight, and it costs me like, you know, $30, whatever, right? Playing a top-tier Standard deck might cost you a couple hundred. But in my time, maybe $30 isn't so much for me, and I just want to put this together and see how it goes. But if those suddenly become roughly the same amount of work to pull together, then why would I ever pull together anything that's just dirtily and stupid when I could just pull together the top tier deck?
I would be interested to see if, because of the way card collection works in Arena, if the meta isn't different in Arena than it is in paper or Magic Online.
There's also the opportunity that because they're just, these are the cards that you've collected digitally that you I guess we don't know if there's sort of costs to play events. I don't believe there would be. Maybe drafting there probably would be, but
drafting will cost you money.
I can't imagine that there isn't an opportunity to just
I would assume
play for free.
Yeah, I would assume you'd just be like, I want to play a standard game. It'll match you up with somebody playing standard.
Maybe given that, I'm not going to take a dirtily goofy explore deck to F&M.
No,
I'm just throwing my entry fee away. But here I'd be like, I got these cards. Well, let's see what this does. And maybe you get completely dirted out by someone who has all the cool cards. But there's much less to lose for playing a sillier deck.
Right. Well, also that's F&M here.
Yeah.
Where we have a much more competitive.
That's true. We have a warped sense of what F&M is because we have a very competitive, affluent local community.
Because I've also heard from people who are like, I pulled this together. It's the kind of thing that I would take to an F&M, but never to an actual.
Yeah, and we're like, are you kidding? F&M with that? What? No. But to be fair, we were playing when Cawblade was around. So.
Yeah.
What do you think? It seems to me that a good evaluation would be, say, in a month or 2 months or 3 months, somebody who is a, fairly heavy player of Arena. I think the real thing to look at would be what percentage of their collection on Arena are cards that they chose, and what percentage are cards that they opened. That they just opened, right? So it's like if at the end of 3 months, say 5%, only 5% of your cards are ones that you actually chose, and the rest are just ones that you got through drafting or opening packs, then that might not be so good. But if 25% of your cards are ones that you chose, then you're in probably fine shape.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think about is that okay, so you've got your play set of cards. You've been drafting a lot. You find yourself in the same deck fairly frequently because it's a deck that you like or an archetype you like.
Yeah.
Does this incentivize you to keep drafting that deck? Because if your 5th copy of a card, when the draft is over, turns into Vault Progress,
That's interesting.
then that incentivizes you to continue picking. You look, the pack comes around and you have 4 Charter Course in your collection.
Yeah.
And
you take the 5th Charter Course.
Yeah.
To build up your build up your Vault Progress.
Obviously,
there's nothing in
obviously
it, right?
most people don't draft as much as say Marshall or Kenji, but
But
when they're doing the sunset shows on limited resources, right? It's like, what's your most drafted card? And Marshall's like, I have 48 Charter Course in my Magic Online.
Yeah, it doesn't take too many
interesting.
drafting. Say you draft Merfolk twice.
Yeah.
You have the commons, right?
Yeah.
You have 4 ofs.
Yep.
Right. Even if you draft vampires, you get you can get the Squad Hawk vampire.
Yeah.
Legion Conquistador.
Yeah, Legion Conquistador. You had 6 of them, didn't you?
I only had 3. There were 6 in the draft.
Right. But that's one where you can quite easily pull that together.
That's interesting.
So that's kind of like an artificial pressure, or not an artificial pressure, but an emerging pressure on the economy.
Yeah, that is
the other thing is that what if we don't think about this as something like Hearthstone or Eternal, and think of it more as an MMO, where constructed is the end game. Mm-hmm. That's your end game content, is playing standard.
Yeah, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Once you've leveled up your character by drafting and playing limited events.
Yeah.
Then you have your collection, which is your raid gear. right? And then you can play standard.
I do like that you
Is
can
that-
earn all the cards through play. So this this theoretically allows way more people to play the top tier standard decks than it would on paper, where the cards are super expensive.
Yeah, like
because you could. I mean, it might take you a while, but you can earn all the cards.
Yeah.
And then, once a deck stops being viable, it's not like, oh, I spent all the money on these singles. It's like, oh, okay, let me get these other cards that I also have because I've been earning all these cards.
Yeah, and I guess, that comes back to how fast can you do that, right?
Yeah.
If you can't do that fast enough to keep up with the meta, then that's problematic, right?
Yeah.
If you can't put together that top tier standard deck in time to play it when it's still the top tier standard deck, that's a problem.
I mean, aren't you earning cards by like playing drafts though, which you're paying for?
Yeah, like how much will
but
a draft cost?
We don't know.
That's only one way to earn cards, though.
How else are you earning cards?
By doing
Just
the dailies.
Yeah,
and-
it said just by playing.
By playing, yeah. You do quests, you do
I
dailies,
assume-
you do...
I guess if you're not playing standard because you don't have the cards for it, what are you playing other than draft?
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's standard and draft,
draft.
is what they've said it's going to launch with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so-
I guess what I'm saying is that
Yeah, you're playing-
you can't for free get yourself up to standard if the only way other than standard to play is draft.
Yes, because like a draft deck doesn't have the cards to play a standard deck.
Yeah, but no, you can still get there for free by because they said that there's like the quests and stuff don't require you to win either. Right.
So you're just sort of playing with crappy standard decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the case for most card games,
That's
or at
true,
least
yeah.
digital card games, is that you don't start playing with the best cards in the set.
Yeah, that's why
Right.
the third currency, and in fact the most important currency, is time, right? And they said that they will reward like boosters and wild cards and stuff based on just you playing it.
Yeah.
Right.
And the problem there is that everybody's time is they value it differently than everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So it comes back to, how many hours does it take of playing to get to?
I mean, yeah, there is
this
the
deck?
also, like-
you can earn everything in the game for free, assuming your time is worthless. Right.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
or if you're a streamer and your time is actually worth negative money to you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, say time is money, right? And every all the time that I invest into this game is money or time that I'm not spending doing things like working a job or spending
Yeah.
with my family. But what if this is my job?
Yep.
And it actually earns me money and I need to spend a certain amount of time playing,
Yeah.
right? That like us.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. We definitely have a skewed perspective on a couple of these things. For
sure.
But that's that's
Because
interesting.
we need to fill like a 3 or 4 hour streaming block, right? And if we want to play Arena, we want to be able to earn rewards through that.
Yeah. No. I mean, so for me personally, my plan is to draft. Probably a lot. But if draft wasn't in it, then I could easily see myself using real money to buy some boosters because I am super busy, and it's that the cost benefit analysis of time is like, no, you know what, the however long it would take me to earn however many cards is actually worth me just
Buying the cards,
giving Wizards $5 and buying some boosters.
Yeah.
Right.
From the article, it does sound like they expect a heavy player to basically have a full collection. Like as opposed to sort of in the real world, where often even somebody who is a very hardcore player will have like their deck and a few other cards. They won't actually have like all of the cards in standard because they don't need them.
Right.
It sounds like for this, like you basically, the intention is that if you're a heavy player, after a certain amount of time, you basically have at least one of every card.
Yeah.
In the current, in the current packs that are being given out.
Yeah. I assume that you'll get a situation where hardcore players will I mean, I don't know if you can like hold on to wild cards,
Yeah, like
right?
what
Yeah,
But I assume you'll get a situation where like a hardcore player will build up some quantity of gold
Yeah.
and just sit on it and then when the new set comes out,
buy the entire new set.
Cash-
like how do you
cash in for a bunch
reward
of boosters, yeah.
How do you reward someone with a complete collection, right?
yeah.
Because I imagine like if one of your ways of building people's collections is allowing them to play constructed events with pretty bad decks, then you need ways to keep people with good decks out of those queues.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to have like ultra casual, and then competitive, and then like, your soul's on the line.
Yeah.
Kind of queues where they have really big rewards, but you also want rewards for the super casuals so that it enfranchises them. But you don't want to have the people with good collections in those queues at all.
Yeah.
So, how do you keep people with complete collections playing the game and rewarding them, right? Do you?
Yeah. I mean, I think like regardless of sort of what we think of what they're doing currently and what other people think of what they're doing currently, I think what I'm very encouraged by is the core principles they've listed, and the fact that like everything in that article from them is like really explicit of like, we're testing it like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe it'll end up like this. Like it's a beta, right? Like they're testing the economy is almost as important as testing the gameplay.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, like, and they've Hearthstone's been out what for 5 years?
No, it's like 3 or 4.
3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
Like they have this privileged position where they are kind of one of the the big TCG name, finally getting into a Hearthstone-like or Gwent-like, and they can look at all those economies and be like, well, we don't like the way they do this thing, and maybe they wind up in a thing where it's like, now we understand why they do it that way, right?
Yeah.
And they're being quite open about that. So hopefully, that they can learn from other people's experiences and deliver.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like they're definitely looking at other at other games in that way. So, I don't know. I'm like I'm not super bothered by the lack of trading, because I am looking at it like a totally different take on it. And I think you're right in that there is that's where the friction comes from. Is that like it's been 25 years of Magic and it's always worked like that, and now this doesn't.
Yeah. This is just different.
Yeah.
This is just, I mean, it's a fundamentally different game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least in the way that
But I mean, 25 years is a long time.
Yeah.
So
change
it's like,
change is good and change is necessary.
Yeah.
And it's not like paper is going anywhere.
Yeah.
And whether or not you think you could do it better or not, you probably couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, like it's like that thing where Ursula K. Le Guin was asked in an interview about, what do you think about what they did to Wizard of Earthsea? And she's like, oh, they didn't do anything to it. It's right there on my shelf.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah. So I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious to see how everything shakes out. Mostly, I just really want to draft. I really want to draft.
I
want to draft on my phone.
you're on the bus. You've got 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think at the end of the day, the game just needs to come out. Like I think a lot of worry and concern is just coming from Wizards' not great track record with digital, right? I think that factors into this entire situation a whole lot. And I think the minute they release it, the minute it's actually out, it's available, everybody can play it. You can do so on your phone or on your iPad or on your computer, which like all of these things are, in my opinion, way more important than how I get, my cards.
Yeah.
Like the product just needs to be here and easy to use and work.
Yeah.
And so I think if they can deliver that in a timely manner, people will probably just, learn to live with what it is if they don't enjoy it. And for those people who do enjoy it, and especially to new players, it's going to be an entry point into a game that arguably is one of the best. So that can't be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, that's it for this week. Next week should be the Rivals of Ixalan nicknames episode. So we'll see you here for that. A reminder that this show is brought to you by Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/LRR, and by you at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Please check it out. We appreciate it. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. For Cameron and James, I'm Graham, and goodbye.